If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
The European Union condemning what it calls a brutal crackdown on peaceful protests in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, where pro-democracy demonstrations have been spreading across the country.
The EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the actions of Georgia's government, led by the strongly nationalist Georgian Dream Party, fell short of all expectations of an EU candidate country. A journalist in the capital, Tbilisi, reported a new round of what she called arbitrary and violent arrests in the small hours of Monday. Two protesters were reportedly beaten and taken to hospital with concussion and fractures. Earlier, two opposition leaders were detained. There have been nightly demonstrations since November, after Georgian Dream said it had won elections and suspended EU accession talks.
The BBC's Charles Haviland. At least 15 people killed, dozens wounded today. A car bomb went off on the outskirts of a northern Syrian city. Blast occurred next to a vehicle that was carrying farm workers. News and analysis, townhall.com. Some experts are warning of a downside to concierge health care.
Direct primary care is a very popular health care option. Patients pay a fee of roughly $50 to $100 a month and get easier direct access to their doctor for routine care as often as they want at no extra cost. However, public health officials say they do not think of direct primary care as a replacement for insurance. That's because the monthly fee covers nothing beyond the visits. Jason Walker reporting.
Jury selection begins today in Minneapolis for the trial of the alleged ringleader of a scheme to exploit the COVID pandemic. Prosecutors say $250 million was stolen from a program designed to feed children. The attorney for Amy Bach, the founder of a group that prosecutors say was at the heart of the scheme, insists that she's innocent of any wrongdoing. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You're tuned to the Global Star Radio Network. Thanks for listening.
Making America smart again. It's the Krieger Files with Dave Krieger. Are you tired of your boss stealing from your paycheck to send to a government that's writing checks its body can't cash? It's the government's worst nightmare. Dave Krieger.
Okay, and we are back as the sounder fades out. Hey, it's all new stuff. I'm back. Yes, in the video, in the flesh. For those of you watching at 11:05 Central Time. And by the way, I just, rules of the road, because we always got to have them. We are back to the old call-in line. For those of you who were with me on the old show, and I'm talking about the one that ran from October 18th, 2021 to July 12th, 2024. For those of you that knew that number, it's 844-769-2944. If you have that number memorized, that's the number you call in on if you want to talk to moi personally. And Sir Todd, who's running the board for me, is going to answer your call. So you'll be talking to Todd when you jump on this thing. It just seems like old times. Hey, good buddy. All right. We have a listen-only line, and it's new. For those of you that need it, it's area code 605-615-4096. I know. And see, I've always told you, rules of the road, always have a pen and paper handy when you listen to the show, because you never know what kind of information we're going to impart that pertains to you, and you need to know. All these things you need to know, we're going to talk to you about. And if you have questions, that's why we have a call-in line. We don't want you to be shy. And yes, this will be uploaded to YouTube and Rumble later on. And it's also loaded on the KriegerFiles.com. That's the KriegerFiles.com. And you can find us, even in a Google search, you can find us online. And you click there, and all the archives are there. And I even write descriptions every day for who's on the show. Mark J. Quann, will be joining us, and the topic is pay zero taxes. See, I told you it was going to be all legal, financial, consumer related, right? That's what we focus on the show. Now, is health important? Yes, it is. And from time to time, we will have some of our guests on that do health matters, like John Richardson from RNC. If you go to thekriegerfiles.com and you click on shop, you go to the Squirrel General Store, because I started up Squirrel Radio. Why is that? Because squirrels prepare. That they're notorious for doing that. You know, they do more than save for a rainy day. They're very creative little creatures. We had 4 of them on our bird feeder this morning. My lovely wife had to chase away. Yeah, the 4 squirrels are watching. The 4 squirrels are watching. Remember that from 1968 from the Democratic National Convention? Of course you do. That was the whole world. I just want to see if you were paying attention this morning. I know you probably had at least 5 cups of coffee, right? I've only had 3, so we're okay. We're in prime time here. We wanted to move in real quickly with some of the news bits that are going on right now. The sanctuary cities have all vowed that they weren't going to cooperate with Tom Homan's ICE bunch. Yeah, the Icemen cometh. These common sense legislators and people are going to have to find creative ways to convince America's rogue local governments to uphold the law, and Tom Tillis of North Carolina is no exception. He filed a bill last week that would allow victims of migrant crime to sue the sanctuary cities that facilitated the crime. Isn't that amazing how that works? It finally opens the door to the public to hold activist anti-law power wielders accountable for the harm that they cause, and it would strip sanctuary jurisdictions of federal funding if they continue to refuse to abide by immigration laws and shield law enforcement. Ouch, that'll hurt. Well, you see, we have to do stuff like that. Now, again, Tom Tillis, senator from North Carolina, this is a Senate bill. A bill means there's money involved. Remember that. Every time there's a bill, there's money involved. Moving along to the other issues that are affecting not so much you, but I mean, if you complain, there is this old saying, SHTF, you know what that stands for. It's an acronym meaning the caca hits the fan. Because if this happens to be picked up by radio, I don't want people going, oh, he said a cuss word on the air. Even if it's in the dictionary, caca is not in the dictionary, but I mean, you know what that means. The USAID, their website went dark. And according to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they're going away. And that's a good thing, because what are they doing? All the things that my mom said a long time ago when she was still alive, you can't buy your friends. And this is what they do. USAID is like this, the gift that keeps on giving. And it just goes and goes and goes. It's just nutty. Almost 2 weeks after Trump takes office, he signs an executive order freezing virtually all U.S. foreign aid for 90 days. Now, it might be, that includes USAID, which is the U.S. Agency for International Development. And so their website went dark. That means, sorry, but the cupboard was bare. Yeah, we have no more money to give because Doge. Here, Doge, come on, Doge. Yep. Department of Government Efficiency is out and about working, making sure that the personnel files and classified information stays intact, but they're also cutting their funding so they can't be handing it out to our enemies. And of course, what Elon Musk posted on X, his famous server, USAID is a criminal organization, time for it to die. Step up in the back. Right. You got to love it. President Trump, by the way, has fired the holdover CFPB director. This is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And the CFPB, I have come, you know, when it first started out, it was okay. And I mean, Christopher Peterson was a bureau enforcement chief. He used to work at the S.A. Quinney College of Law. He's a professor for them. And Christopher Peterson has testified before Congress about securitization, has written a number of white papers on the subject. Well, Rohit Chopra, the Biden-appointed director of the CFPB, lost his job over the weekend, according to multiple news outlets. That an ally of Senator Elizabeth Warren lasted 12 days into the Trump administration surprised many government watchers. In his goodbye letter, the outgoing director insisted that the CFPB was ready to work with the new administration. Sure they were. How many of these federal pundits out there and all these little minions, these little workers that are part of deep state, have all said, we're not going to enforce any of these Trump regulations? We'll see. Here's the thing. Trump goes out. You have to understand that this is the big rope-a-dope because I just posted something about foreclosures on my Substack page this morning. And, of course, you're welcome to it. And, yes, I do charge. Some of these are paid because there's some sensitive information in there that's only there to subscribers to whom things are pertinent. And that's why I encourage you to subscribe. Go to my Substack page at davekrieger.substack.com. That helps support this show. Because right now, how much do I get paid for doing the show? You see what I mean? Do you see that right there? Yeah. And we have bills like everybody else does. And I'm doing this because I want to do it, not because I got fired by my old show abruptly on Saturday, July 13th in a 2-paragraph email. I'm doing it because I love America and I want to secure freedom and liberty. I want everybody to know what's going on here. That's the reason why we're here. And I say this in all sincerity as a Christian, as a follower of the body of believers in Christ. And I speak directly from the heart every time that I'm talking to you on the air. I'm talking to you, not at you or down at you, okay? Believe you me. And if you want to have a bone to pick, 844-769-2944 is the number to call. And Todd will answer the phone, and he's my portal to get on the show. If you have questions or comments or anything about any of the subject matter we're talking about, or anything that's really bothering you that you want us to try to research and address, we'll do that too. Now, one of the things you should know, here again, Trump and, of course, Sean Duffy, the director of transportation now, he's the secretary, took Pete Buttigieg's place so he can go home and have a little gay fun with his partner. Oh, I know. Was that insensitive? Oh, shut up. Yeah, I know. I do 80 different character voices. It's something you're just going to have to get used to. 313 air traffic control facilities in the United States of America. You got that? 285 of them are understaffed. Below levels recommended by the FAA. And now we're finding out that one of the controllers at DCA at Reagan, Washington Reagan, left early and left one of the other traffic controllers in charge of 2 screens. So see, now we're getting to the real truth here. Now, whether they were DEI hires, I know Congress is just, they got their panties in a bunch and they're all just going bananas over this. Folks, just ignore that political sideshow. It's not worth getting yourself frustrated. I mean, just look at the statistics. The 73 of the facilities, which include air traffic control towers, the workforce is understaffed by at least 25%. Makes you want to fly, doesn't it? I know a lot of people that literally would drive coast to coast in their vehicle because they think it's safer and that you could avoid crashes. Well, with all the road rage and all the woke people that are still out there that haven't come around, that don't understand, when they see that Trump sticker on your car, you're an open target. Seriously. You think I'm kidding? No, there's people out there that still have a boner to pick with anybody that's got support Trump or Trump Vance or whatever. You got any kind of a bumper sticker on your car, look, it's time to go silent on that. Stop with the MAGA stuff. Take those things off your car now. We've already done our campaigning. Now it's time to deal with election integrity and make sure that these people can't rip us off in 2026. Because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to stack the deck. That's why you got people like Steve Stern with Stern American out there doing these monthly types of election integrity workshops that last about 2.5 hours long. And I wish we could carry them all, but unoccasionally I'll have Steve on the show to update us as to what election integrity is doing. Very important to understand that. It has everything to do with how much funding there is and how safe our airports are. 2 facilities, by the way, on Long Island that handle 1.2 million flights in and out of Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK airports annually have nearly 40% of positions unfilled. These are high-stress jobs. Even President Trump mentioned this when he said these are high stress and these people's lifespans are shortened because of the stress on their bodies. And the thing is I wish they only had to work 6-hour shifts. But when you got people leaving, especially at night, well, I'm going home, guys. I got a headache, and you're not watching your screen and junk happens like what happened before. Now we know Captain Rebecca Lobach, that's her name. She was the one at the controls of that UH-60 helicopter that crashed into the American Airlines or American Eagle flight. Yep, she crashed right into it. She was flying at an altitude that was unsafe and out of regulation. They were at 300 feet. They should have been at 200. She was not at 200 feet. They were all wearing night vision goggles. You can't see squat in the air wearing NVGs. You just can't. So a lot of truth is coming out, but then you got to look at the control tower. All of this could have been avoided. The pilots were anticipating landing on runway 1. They were told to land on runway 33. That was a fatal mistake. Now, is that part of air traffic control's problem? Well, you got a guy watching 2 screens and one guy took off. What does that tell you? Hey, fly the friendly skies. I'm not going to mention that name because I don't want them, coming after me. But hey, this is the way it is. And of course, you also heard about the Mexico flight. It was a Learjet 55 that went down. It got 1,500 feet up in the air and did a 60-degree nosedive and crashed into the ground with full fuel tanks. It was headed for Springfield, Missouri, when then it was going to go to Tijuana. But unfortunately, the problem was they had apparently engine failure, and because they had full fuel tanks and the fuel's in the wings, when it hit, it was not like the crash and the explosion that happened over the Potomac, because they were running on about 20% fuel. That's about what I understand as far as the fuel balance of a flight that's just gone across the country, even in a CRJ 700. That's a Canadair regional jet, for those of you that don't know what CRJ stands for. I've flown them many times. They're extremely safe, except when a UH-60 gets in your flight path. That should never have happened. And so this pilot, Rebecca Lobach, only had 500 hours of flight time, and her instructor, Eves, Chief Warrant Officer Eves, 39 years old, only had 1,000 flight hours in one of these UH-60s. So this thing over the weekend in Philadelphia killed one driver on the ground. The airplane actually hit his car when it landed and killed him. 19 others were injured because, you've got literally jet fuel all over the place catching fire and causing all sorts of problems. And, we want to pray for those, because there was a girl on board that just underwent emergency surgery. Wow. And she, life-saving surgery, and now she's gone. Man, I'll tell you what, and I can't say, wow, what a waste of resources that was. No, everybody left with good intentions, and it was one of these freak accidents. And unfortunately, when planes come down and they hit the ground, there are casualties, not just in the sky. You land in the Potomac, that's one thing. They still have not recovered all the bodies yet, and they may not, because some of these may be washing out into the Atlantic Ocean. The sad state of affairs in D.C., man. You've got air traffic control and the Huey, and the air traffic control gave instructions to pass behind the jet. But the thing is that here is this Huey 300 feet up off the ground, and it should not have been. It should have been 200 feet. It would have missed the plane, but the plane was descending. It was at plus or minus 325 feet. So, there was destined to be an accident. It was just a matter of time. And I guarantee you, DC needs an enema, seriously. It's our government. The government was in charge of the control tower. And see, Trump did not have a chance, because Sean Duffy was day 2 of his Secretary of Transportation. All these mistakes were mistakes that were remnants of the Biden administration and had not been updated yet. They were still looking at things, trying to figure stuff out. So if you want to, DEI, might it have been just a little premature to bring that up? Well, we don't know, because they haven't fully investigated this yet. But if DEI was involved, that's going to stop real quick. People are going to lose their jobs, which means we have more air traffic controller positions for those of you geniuses out there that would like a really good paying job. And yes, there is an air traffic controllers union. It's still out there. I know Reagan tried to bust it, but the thing is that it's one of these things where if you don't have air traffic controllers, nobody's flying. Mexico has deployed 10,000 troops to the border to help combat this garbage. We're talking about the flow of fentanyl into the United States of America. This is one of the reasons why Trump imposed the tariff, because he knew that he would get a reaction. When you kick somebody in the shins, of course you're going to get a reaction. They're going to kick back. That's exactly what Claudia Scheinbaum. Man, it makes you wonder about that last name, huh? That sound Hispanic to you? Scheinbaum? Sounds Jewish to me. I don't know. Jewish Hispanic? How does that work? Folks in East Palestine, Ohio, are still PO'd at the government and the railroad 2 years after that toxic train derailment. Remember that Norfolk Southern train carrying hazardous materials that derailed in the village and contaminated all their water supply and contaminated the ground? I mean, it's worse than the dioxin scare in St. Louis. People are not too happy with the outcome of that, even though there was a settlement. The ground is still polluted, and I got a question. You all heard the saying, you don't like the weather, move. Why aren't you asking to be compensated? Raise your house. What can they do with the ground? Can you chemically treat the ground to make it safe for nutrients again? Do the nutrients have to wash down into the soil by rain? And if it rains and washes all these down to the soil, is it continuing to contaminate the water supply? Why are you still there? I know I can't sell my house. How many foreclosures are going to occur in East Palestine, Illinois now? Because of the fact that people can't pay their mortgage, they can't go to work, they're sick. I mean, this is, Norfolk Southern needs to cough up the money to finish paying off their mortgages because their houses, seriously, I mean, if you can't live there, why are you still there? There's a lot of reasons why. And people would rather stay in their house and pay their mortgage and attempt to go to work and do all these things. And unfortunately, trying to stay alive in an environment like this is a real problem. These tariffs are obviously going to cause some blowback. This is a trade war that's going on right now. The tariffs are going to affect $1.4 trillion worth of goods, primarily targeting U.S. allies per the Tax Foundation. The prices may rise on cars, avocados, and homes because there are materials that are made in Mexico and Canada that come down here, especially lumber. That's one of the reasons why I decided to get into the steel SIP housing business. And you can go look at that at shopaffordablehomes.com. Now, the difference between that and Boxable, BOXABL.com, I'm not an affiliate yet. They now have the new mini box, which costs about 20 grand. And for those of you that like tiny homes, it's a perfect situation. For those of you that get claustrophobic real easily, you probably want to go to the regular Boxable, which is about $50,000. And it's kind of like one of those summer cabins that you stay in, not a tiny home. But the thing is that, and I'm not getting paid to say this, steel SIP housing is better insulated than these Boxable. But of course, you don't have that much space. But at least these things are Category 5, and I'm talking about the steel SIP home. These are Category 5 hurricane-resistant, Miami-Dade rated at 230 mile an hour. So definitely they will withstand a lot of things, including a 22 round. It'll literally bounce off the shell of one of these steel SIPs housing, and if you want to put ballisticrete on it, it'll repel a 50 caliber round. Just so you know. There are a lot of people out there that are still very paranoid because we have a government still full of jackbooted fascist thugs like the ATF. And I talked to Bud Cummins the other day, and he is going to be coming on the show to discuss what happened with Brian Malinowski March 19th, a year ago. And he's going to talk about what they're doing because there is a lawsuit against the federal government and the ATF because these people were serving a search warrant and they did not follow protocol. And they killed somebody unnecessarily and then refused to let his organs be donated and refused to let release the body. So the family could do anything until it was too late and the guy was dead, and the organs couldn't be harvested. So you see, this government can be very cruel when it wants to. All I have to do is go back in time and say, Waco, Ruby Ridge, Gordon Call. They can be very, very cruel. One of these sad things. U.S. home builders, 25% of the building materials they get come from Canada and Mexico. Then maybe it's time to start looking into people other than production builders. And the thing is that, when you're in a place, and I'm not just making a pitch for steel SIP housing. If you go to shopaffordablehomes.com, you can read all about it. That is my website with my Florida corporation. We're going to be talking to Mark J. Quann about paying zero taxes after the bottom of the hour break, which is coming up very soon. And the beauty about this show, too, is we're not going to inundate you with 13 minutes of commercials plus. We're just not going to inundate you with that like we did on the other show. where it's nothing but constant commercials over and over and over, drumming home, buy this health product from our... No, I have a shop, and if you need something, you go there and you buy it. It's no big deal. I sell ripe machines. I sell the lamb cream. In fact, the lamb cream's right up here on the shelf. You can't see it in my camera lens, but it's there. I have the Helon PF, and I have the lamb cream, and I use it all the time. It's great for skin conditions. But like I said, I'm not here to pester you about that. So the thing is I don't like to stock a lot of products here. I'm not going to play that game with you where I take your credit card and I don't have the stuff in stock. I'm not going to play that game like the old show did. That's what got them into trouble. That's why they're not there anymore. And I'm still here because I'm honest and I don't play that game. I'm as honest as the day is long. Yes, we've all made mistakes, but the fact is when I say land of the disenfranchised, thank you, President Trump, for clarifying that for us. There was another airliner, as long as we're talking about airliners and the safety of airliners, there was a Houston to New York flight that had to abort its takeoff at Bush International down in Houston. George Bush Intercontinental Airport, read my lips. Yep, they safely aborted a takeoff because there was an engine issue. Namely, the engine was on fire. And basically, they had to use their emergency landing chutes and get everybody the hell off that Airbus A319, which was scheduled to fly to LaGuardia, LGA. That's the airport code. And so they were removed from the plane, sent to a nearby terminal. Obviously, Houston Fire Department. Yeah, they responded and they said, yep, nobody was injured. Thank God for small favors, boy. If they'd have taken that thing airborne with an engine lit up on fire, that would have been disastrous. What do they say about things happening in threes? Thank God they were paying attention, right? So now that we know that USAID is out of the way, that's a little more tax dollars that aren't being spent, but we still have a government that does runaway gobs and gobs of collecting taxes and ripping you off. And now they're talking about Social Security taxes, the Social Security benefits you get. Trump is saying, and some in Congress like Massey are saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't be taxing Social Security benefits because these people are hard up. I mean, people who are retired are now having to become unretired. Crazy, isn't it? Wow. Mark J. Quann joins us after the break. We'll be talking about how to pay zero taxes. That's a saving grace, isn't it? That's amazing. Welcome back to the show, by the way, if you're joining us at our new time here, 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon Eastern, and then we rebroadcast this at 1 p.m. until the next show gets loaded. So if you missed the show, you can hear us. That's right. We're going to take a quick break. We don't have that many commercials to play. Aren't you lucky? Just stay with us because Mark J. Quann will talk to you about paying zero taxes when we come back. Stay with us. Stay with us. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
With inflation constantly chewing away at the value of paper money, perhaps it's time for Americans to bite back. Ownership of gold and silver coins provides great counterbalance to weaker paper money value. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins. You can reach us directly at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282.
It's time to send another message to Washington. It's the Krieger Files.
Some of you might have to flush twice, right? Yeah, see, here's the thing. And see, Thomas Massey and others are talking about, you know, all your people are drawing Social Security. We have a lady in Florida that's freaking out. She is, 85 years old, and she's got to go back to work because she doesn't have enough money to make ends meet. I mean, this is just nutty. The South Florida Sun-Sentinel was reporting that this morning. And it wouldn't be nice if you didn't have to pay any tax at all. Now, we know, my parents were so ignorant, and I don't mean to belittle them, but I remember them the day I got married. They're sitting in the pool talking to my in-laws. Well, how are they supposed to fund the schools if we don't pay federal income tax? And I'm going, you people got it all wrong. That's not what funds schools. Mark Quann, welcome to the show, sir.
Happy to be here, man. We're really excited to talk with you today. So.
I'm telling you, see, anything that is consumer financial or legal, I mean, this is what's important. People need to understand that, when you're dealing with people like Jeanette Campbell, who lives in Miami, and she said, I can't afford to live. I got to go back to work. We got 13% of retired seniors, 65 to 85, a lot of whom, by the way, listen to the show. They're likely to start working again this year. 22% of seniors are currently working. Now, see, the thing is that you and I know better. See, I don't have any intention of retiring, so we're one up on them. But anyway, I appreciate that. Now, you grew up in Canada.
I did. I grew up in Ontario. I went to high school in a place called Galt. It was the really poor. There's the three areas. We lived in the really poor one. And I went to high school there for a little bit. And it was I grew up pretty poor, so yeah, it's definitely. But
the whole idea of AA, BA, CA, all that went away.
Totally.
You don't do that anymore.
Give me a beer, I start dropping the A's.
I love it. Well, see, here's the thing: you got this book out. Use the buy, borrow, die strategy, and see, people like my wife hates debt. Most everybody hates debt. I mean, I think we can all share it, but I mean, people have this like sin consciousness in religion. They have debt consciousness, and it's like this big weight on their shoulders, and they don't understand about leveraging. And I'm sure you're going to share that with us in this segment.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I've spent 20 years in the financial industry, and, I've read every book I've written. Now, this is my fourth book. And I was the thing, if you look at my books, the first one is about the banking industry, and it says get out of debt and send in those extra principal payments. And here I am 20 years later, I'm getting wealthy by borrowing money because debt is tax-free and working hard is highly taxed. It's definitely a new place in my life, but I've got hundreds of people using this system. And, anybody who's working and collecting Social Security, getting a job, I can actually show them quick solutions. They can build income when they're working. Their money can be working for them.
That is amazing how it works. And see, people just don't understand about that. Now, see, I have always encouraged people to start businesses. Right. Because with the LLC, you get to keep the money up front and not send it to some employer, which is one of the things that it says, are you writing check? You're writing checks to a government who is writing checks its body can't cash. And it's like, why do we need to deprive ourselves to give to a government that spends like sailors in a strip club? I mean, it's just nutty. And I don't understand it. And see, we've always been looking for logistical ways to overcome that. And it looks like you've come up with something. So give me a nuts and bolts on this book. What does it do?
Obviously, business ownership. There's the book is 49 chapters. It covers business ownership, everything. But it's just that it's not the strategy that I created. It's the strategy that comes from the University of Southern California, a guy named Ed McCaffrey. It's been around for decades. It's very, very, very simple. And the professor there wanted to simplify how people get very, very wealthy. And it's simple: buy, never sell. Rather than sell the asset, borrow from that asset to buy another asset. You just circumvented the tax system because you didn't sell the first asset. When you borrowed the money, you didn't have to work for it. So you didn't have to go pay income taxes. You didn't have to you didn't have to go to work. You didn't have to pay income taxes, and you didn't have to fight inflation. You actually created inflation. You fought inflation with inflation. So low interest debt, when you buy another asset, it's tax free. So it's a very simple, and then when you die, you get a step up in basis. So you go to work, and obviously business ownership is very important. Corporations, real estate, I use all those things But yeah, you earn your money. Even a person who's an employee can do this. You earn your money and then you invest it. And then eventually it grows. And rather than pay your expenses with liquidating the money, you can borrow money, which is new money that did not exist. It's not taxed. And you could even pay your expenses with that money. Now, because you're investing first to build your wealth, when you borrow the money, that's new money that didn't exist. People call it debt. I don't call it debt. I call it money I didn't have to work or pay taxes on. Now you're funding your life with money that's never been taxed.
I love it. Yes.
I got hundreds of people using this. This isn't something that I'm trying out. I've been running this for 4 years. Where am I going on 4 years? I've got people who came in the course who knew nothing. They're working jobs, 50 grand a year, whatever. I've got every single student. I've proven it. It can be taught to anyone.
And this is like an open line to your brain, right? That people have questions you said
let's
course.
Run it, man. We got what, 5 hours today? Let's just
I wish we had 5 hours today, baby. I wish we did, but we don't. Yeah. I'm looking at the fact that, one, you offer a course.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody's got a course. I have courses. I teach foreclosure defense. Yep. And so, this is keeping more of your money. Obviously, if you're being foreclosed on, I've got people actually that are staying in their home. They did what we call a strategic default. Yep. They sue their lender. When the lender tries to foreclose, they sue them in court pro se. And I have people that have been renting their houses out without making their mortgage payment for over 18 years.
Wow.
I mean, this is probably one of the things that's not part of that 49 chapters.
No, it's not. But I wrote my first book against the banking industry. It was called Rich Man, Poor Bank: What the Banks Don't Want You to Know About Money. So I understand the bank is not really trying to help us. So, if you're using some loopholes to help people stay in their homes, but we have all kinds of stuff in there. We have a student who came in our course. They had $22,000 of high interest credit card debt. They had a Fidelity account, right? They're like, oh no, should I liquidate the Fidelity? I'm like, no, moved money over to a company called M1 Finance. They're a broker. She pressed the button. She borrowed $22,000 and paid off all her credit card debt. Gone. There's no credit check. There's no application. There's no credit score. And it's it. It's just, and then she had all the credit card debt. That was $950 a month going to predatory high interest credit card debt. She took that money. She put it into her investment account. And then basically she can pay her expenses off the borrow button. And then she keeps funding the investment account and she builds wealth, never pays taxes, and pays for her expenses, the money that never been taxed.
Well, we know that loan proceeds are not taxable. We know
Correct.
that's a given. Yep. But
Yep.
the thing is now, so if I'm mistaken, one of these 49 things has to be HELOCs. Am I hitting it? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. That's in the real estate side. People understand. Here's what people don't understand. People realize, okay, let's take the Dave Ramsey's, right? Everyone's like, oh, Dave Ramsey. Okay. Dave says, hey, buy a home. And I love Dave Ramsey, by the way. He's helped millions of people, right? Yeah. So not ratting it, but think of the concept. If you buy a home with 5% down payment, you had to work for the 5%, correct? Then 95%, where does the money come from? It's created in a computer and it's never been taxed. So if you buy a $500,000 home, right, and you put 3% down, you're putting $15,000. Where does the other $485,000 come from? It's created in a computer and it's never taxed. They gave you $485,000, which never been taxed, and you buy your home. It's, imagine trying to work for the $500,000. You'd never get there. So, and then they go, oh, pay the home off. I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. You should refinance the home and buy another piece of real estate because you create hundreds of thousands of dollars using debt. And remember, debt is tax-free and working hard is highly taxed. So you have to understand the tax system. The system penalizes hardworking. The biggest penalty is going to work a job. I mean, it's the biggest penalty ever in your life. You have to spend your time, you have to fight taxation, and you have to fight inflation. You're never going to win. I just wanted people to understand, you're never going to win if you just keep working a job and then funding a retirement account. You're just not going to win. I can run the numbers all day long. You're not going to do it. So we have a course. There's a video. By the way, somebody can just go to the YouTube and watch free videos. Great overview. They can watch 3 classes for free. I don't charge them a dime. If they want to enroll in a video course, they can enroll in the video course. We have the live course, and then we have we also help rich people too. We don't discriminate. You know what I mean? We'll help the middle America. We'll help the we'll help the poor get middle America get rich. We'll help the rich get richer. I don't discriminate. I'll help people regardless of where they stand, right? Or background or income or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's a cool course. I believe in it. If somebody ever wanted the money back for the course, I'll just give it to them. I don't care. Somebody's like, I did your course, don't believe in it. Boom, I'll cash app them their money back.
Well, let's get started with the book. How much is the book?
The book is $25. It's not even available yet. It's not available till March 4th. And here's the thing. Let me tell you this. What if you put your money in your brokerage account and you press the borrow button for $25 and sent the $25 to your checking account? How much did the book cost you of your money? Nothing. And did you have to pay taxes on it? No. Let's flip it around a little bit. What if you've invested in your brokerage account and you make donations to a church or charity, but you did it with a margin loan? You created a tax deduction on money that didn't exist. Make sense?
Amazing.
If I fund business expenses with a margin loan, now I'm getting tax deductions on money that didn't exist. Now I'm getting to the pay no taxes area. But there's real estate. There's a lot of different parts to what I would call a perfect portfolio. It's stocks, ETFs, life insurance, real estate, cryptocurrency, and gold and precious metals. Just buy and borrow from each, and there you get rich. You never pay taxes. Anybody can do it. And when you die, you pass all that wealth to your family with no taxes.
That's amazing. And do you cover doing trusts? Because a lot of people, that game is out there too, about putting property in trust so that it transfers, assets transfer.
You obviously need a basic trust, right? But you don't really need a trust. You obviously, to make sure you have beneficiaries, but stocks, ETFs, life insurance, real estate, cryptocurrency, gold and precious metals, they all transfer to yours with a step up in basis. You don't need anything fancy, it just steps up and go to your family. Retirement accounts don't do that. Tax deferred retirement accounts, you get to pass all the tax problems to your family generationally.
Ow.
So I don't use any tax deferred retirement accounts. I think they're a complete scam, actually. And I'll back it up in the book too. I'm not we're talking about Social Security. Well, Social Security was a benefit, was never supposed to be taxed. It was promised to say never going to tax it. The government got greedy and said, well, first of all, Social Security is a tax. And then when you take the money out of your 401k, it triggers the taxes on your Social Security. So it was a tax, was promised it wasn't going to be taxed. As soon as you take money out of your 401k, it triggers the tax. So it's really triple taxation. At least now so what we're getting back, right? If they don't tax Social Security, it's what it should have been. It's not like they're getting something different. It's getting what was promised to them in the first place. Make sense? So it's just.
It does. It does. And now the benefits, self-employment, working for a W-2, which is better.
I can do both. I can show people on W-2 how to pay no taxes, and I can show them self-employed. Either way, obviously self-employed, way better. Self-employed, if you own real estate, even way better. Multiple properties. I have them all. I have real estate, rentals. I'm using the Bible or Die system, but I'll use every factor in there. By the way, the book is not boring. Okay, I know tax.
Oh, I don't anticipate it would be. In fact, a lot of people out there are chomping at the bit going, Mark, why isn't this book out now? I need it now, not later. The thing is it's coming out right before tax time, folks. And I know, a day late and a dollar short. For those of you that are already in the system and understand that Social Security, this is another argument. It's voluntary, but once you're in it, you're stuck. They got you under contract and you always have to file a tax return. So why are you paying taxes? Any way that we can look at, the idea is using leverage in somebody else's money. We're back to the OPM principle, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's other people's money. And people just don't realize you did it when you bought your house. You put 5% down, the 95% was created on a computer. You didn't pay taxes on it. So you created hundreds of thousands. Well, why not do that again? Like people say, pay off your home. Worst idea ever. So pay off it. If you pay off your home, you're saying, I want to pay more taxes. That's really, from a tax perspective, if you had a 3% mortgage and you're dumping it, you're locking up your money at 3%. Every time you pay interest, you're paying principal, you're paying more in taxes. And then the one thing you could have done was borrow from that property and buy another one, and you'd own two properties and then create $100,000 or more that you didn't pay taxes on. See, the rich understand this, and that's why they're getting rich. I didn't understand it in the financial industry. In fact, the 15 years I spent in the financial industry, they're convincing you of the traditional system, right? Because they don't want you to win.
Now, see, that's why the stock market is a rich man's game. But see, certain people play in certain stocks, and I got out of the markets. And now you're telling me I made a mistake getting out of the markets. I buy term life insurance. I have no need for whole life because, I mean, how many people right now, they can't save enough because they're in a fight or flight situation and they're throwing money at debt and high interest credit cards and they're trying to get out of this. And it's like, wow. I mean, it's an OPM principle about using other people's credit cards. And a lot of these real estate gurus say that, but then they get themselves upside down. And when one real estate deal goes bad, now they're virtually facing bankruptcy.
I agree. There's so much bad advice out there. There's really bad advice. Oh, use debt, 0% financing, credit. All those things are horrible, horrible advice. You're right. You have a system. We start people with $100 in a brokerage account. Anybody can do that, right? And then they can see it. But I would say, if I wanted to simplify this, pick 5 stocks that you buy from every day. Amazon. I like Tesla. I like Amazon. I'm on there all the time. I'm using artificial intelligence, so I buy some NVIDIA. Costco. And then, I don't know, pick another stock. Buy those things just every single week and never sell them, okay? And then if you need to pay off debt or whatever, you take a low interest margin loan and you pay off debt with it. Now you're building assets and building tax-free wealth at the same time. So it's just buying and borrowing. It's incredibly powerful. Yeah, it's incredibly powerful. And obviously what you put into it, there's lots of things that didn't exist, okay? It was very hard to do this 4 years ago. It was almost impossible for the average person to do it 4 years ago, because I know every investment platform in the market, we've tested them all. It's only possible because of innovation in the market. There's a company called M1 Finances. We cover that. By the way, this is all on the YouTube channel. But yeah, it is possible today for average and ordinary people. We're talking plumbers, HVAC workers, whatever, factory workers. I've done all those things before. And this is the system that I will use. I've never found anything more powerful. And you can start with $100 in your brokerage account.
That's amazing. Now, the YouTube channel, what is the name of the YouTube channel?
The Perfect Portfolio, YouTube. The Perfect Portfolio on YouTube. Yeah, there's a video on there, how ordinary Americans can pay no taxes. Just check it out. Learn it.
I wrote it down. You saw me. I wrote it down. See, folks, you're going to investigate all these things. We all do. And that's one of the reasons why I had Mark on the show when his publicist called me and says, hey, I got this guy and he's got this book. And I'm like, yeah, that's something that everybody that listens to this show wants to know about because they're trying to salvage their income. But the thing is they're trying, if you borrow money against your house, it's already paid off.
Yep.
And you say, hey, I've got a big nest egg here. If I sell this and I can buy less property, pay cash. I mean, right now, because the interest rates the way they are, 40% of the real estate market, and my wife is a real estate agent, 40% of the market is paying with cash.
Right.
Where's the thought process here?
It doesn't make any sense. You have to pay with cash. That means you had to work hard, pay taxes, and fight inflation to earn the cash. Why not just put 3% down and buy a piece of real estate? My wife and I just moved from California. We're done with California about a year ago. We said we're moving to Knoxville, Tennessee. Do you think I put a big down payment? I put 3% down. I bought a property, and that's it. Why would I want to do more than 3%? I got investments that earn a pretty high rate of return. Again, you can go to the YouTube. You can actually see the investments in my portfolio, and there's a little algorithm that manages it for free. Like you don't. Again, so there's just the world is very different, and the innovators in the market. I'm bored unless I'm innovating and disrupting. I got to be disrupting something and innovating and disrupting and innovating, right? And I have to be helping people. That's just I'm wired that way, right? So we have it works for anybody. Anybody can try it. Prove me wrong. You know what I mean? And start with $100, right? Just good to go.
In a brokerage account.
In a brokerage account, don't use a Roth IRA, don't use an IRA, just a taxable brokerage account, because a taxable brokerage account isn't taxable unless you sell it. So you grow it without taxes, just like a Roth IRA, right? You fund money in Roth, it grows without taxes. You can take income without taxes, and you can die without taxes. Same thing with a brokerage account. I can grow it tax-free. I can never sell it. I can actually generate income that didn't exist to invest in my business as it's growing. That's a tax deduction, And when I die, it's not taxable. So it's got this, but I can put any amount. I could put 50 grand into a brokerage account. I can't put 50 grand into a Roth. Well, I can. I'll do a backdoor Roth there, but that's in the book too. But there's always ways to circumvent the U.S. tax system. It's so easy. But
people don't get it though, Mark. They don't get it.
I know.
The thing is that all of these people, you go to these financial wealth seminar, will help you build financial wealth and open a Roth. It's the first thing out of their mouth is open a Roth.
Okay, there's these like 7 levels of financial IQ. First one is I don't understand anything. That's where we all start, right? Can we agree we started there? And then person goes, oh, I need to get financial education. So what do? They go to a publicly traded mega bank, okay, which has infiltrated all the schools, and they say, save money and get good credit. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm learning finances. No, saving money makes publicly traded banking corporations massive income. Getting good credit makes publicly traded corporations. You're turning your family into a passive income stream for Wall Street. So they go, all right. And then the financial advisor at the bank goes, hey, you should get a retirement account so you can retire. Like, that's a scam. Who came up with the term retirement account? Wall Street. They convince you to give all your money to Wall Street, right? And then you do that. So then you're turning your family into a multi-generational passive income stream for Wall Street. Then they get you in credit card debt. They say, oh, go work hard to pay off your credit card debt. No, get a brokerage account, fund it, never pay taxes. If you want to get yourself out of debt, borrow. If you want to donate to your church, borrow. You want to run a business, just borrow. It's all tax-free. Scrap the whole system, just trash it, right? Now, there's some advanced stuff we do. Real estate, Augusta Code, real estate professional status, cost segregation, all these advanced strategies you can use, but you can start with $100 in a brokerage account. You can try it out. Just pick 5 stocks that you spend your money on every day. If you want to go to Starbucks, let's say you want to spend, let's say you want to buy an Apple phone. Like, oh man, it's $300. Great. Save $3,000 in your brokerage account, press the borrow button, go buy your Apple phone with money you didn't work or pay taxes on. Now you have the Apple phone, but you also have the Apple stock, right? You own both, but you didn't pay taxes on the money you bought the phone with. Make sense? So
now let me guess, and you have a brokerage account that you work with, right?
I work with Robinhood and M1 Finances. Everyone's got a Robinhood account. Like, it works great on Robinhood. It works with M1 Finance. I don't have any. They're not my companies. I interviewed also on the YouTube. I interviewed the founder of M1 Finance, Brian Barnes. He created a system because his family got wealthy using buying and borrowing. He's like, I should probably create an app for that. So anyway, ordinary people can do it. And the person who's going to work at a job because they're 68 years old and they need a solution, connect to me. I'll help them. I'll prove it. I'll prove that they can do it too.
That's amazing. Now you have to wait until March to get the book.
I would, if you said, hey, send me their info, I'll jump on Zoom and we'll show them how to do it. You know what I mean? Anybody can do it.
All right. So the course, you have these courses available that they can sign up for now if they want to take a class.
I'd say don't keep your money away. I'll prove to you that it works and you can try it out for a couple months for free. I don't really care. Watch the YouTube channel, learn it. The link's in there. You can put $100. You can run it yourself for free and prove it works. And if you want to learn more, great, come back to me. Don't pay me anything unless I prove it works first.
So the days of interactive trader, which is what I trained on, the days of interactive trader, I'm like, that just, you can short stock. And I'm like, no, I don't think I want to do that.
No, just keep buying forever. Just auto buy and then auto buy forever and never sell.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Buy and down market, just perfect. You just keep buying forever. So it's simple. Buy things that you use, keep buying forever and never stop funding them. And if you need cash for anything, business, donate to the church, your personal expenses, press the borrow button and send it to your checking account. Buy your stuff with money that's never been taxed and build wealth at the same time that's tax-free.
But the thing is, too, is if you're self-employed, you've set up your own LLCs and corporations, you get the benefit of anywhere from 75 to 350 tax deductions, which are legitimate. And then you write off your expenses out when you pay no taxes or very few, if any, taxes at all while you're trying to grow the plan. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a new thing.
Corporation secrets in there. It's all in the book, 49 chapters. And again, it's not boring. I can barely read tax books. I had to make it fun. There's some jokes in there. We keep it fun. It's enjoyable, and it's easy to read.
Now, when it does come out, you get it where? Where can you buy it?
Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon. It'll be in Barnes & Noble, I think. So it'll be everywhere. So Amazon's the best place to get it right now.
Super. So. Well, that works. Mark Quann. Mark J. Quann. Hey, Canadian guy, turned rich, figured it out. Financial system. Thank you so much. God bless you for the work you're doing, sir. We appreciate it.
Been here for the American dream, and I'm just trying to share it with others. So
I appreciate that. And we will keep close eye on when that book comes out. In the meantime, check out the YouTube video, and it's on the perfect portfolio. We're out of time for today, folks. Hey, boy, did we blow through that hour fast, did we? The hour will repeat itself. You can hear the show. If you missed it, you can hear it all the way until 1 p.m. tomorrow. The same show plays, so you won't miss a trick. In the meantime, God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America. We welcome your phone calls and your emails. You can go to thekriegerfiles.com and drop us an email and let us know you're listening. In the meantime, we will see you later.
Many Americans are growing increasingly concerned about the rapidly growing U.S. government deficits, recognizing the additional printing of paper money devalues U.S. currency. To compensate, American gold and silver coins will provide wealth protection. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins delivered directly to our clients. You can reach us at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
Broadcasting to the U.S. and around the world by way of clear digital audio, 22,500 miles above the planet. This is the Global Star Radio Network.